History remembers the conquerors, the kings, the revolutionaries. But what about those who slipped through the cracks? The forgotten geniuses, the overlooked heroes, the spectacular failures? Today we uncover the unbelievable stories of history's most obscure figures, people who should be famous but aren't. Majin, a princess who refused to marry unless her suitor could defeat her in wrestling. Meet Khutulun, the great-great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan and the greatest wrestler in the Mongol Empire. In the 13th century, when marriage was purely political, Khutulun challenged convention by demanding that any potential husband must first beat her in wrestling. The stakes? 100 horses from each defeated suitor. She collected over 10,000 horses and remained undefeated her entire life. Marco Polo himself wrote about her legendary strength. Yet despite commanding armies alongside her father and becoming one of the richest people in Mongolia, Khutulun has been largely erased from popular history. Charleston Harbor, 1862. The American Civil War rages. A Confederate steamship called the Planter sits anchored in the darkness. Robert Smalls, an enslaved man forced to work as the ship's helmsman, has memorized the Confederate signals and shipping channels. Tonight he'll attempt something no one thought possible. With the white officers ashore, Smalls donned the captain's hat, gathered his family and other enslaved people, and commandeered the vessel right under the Confederates' noses. He successfully navigated past 5 heavily armed checkpoints, giving the correct signals at each one. When finally, beyond Confederate guns, he hoisted a white sheet and surrendered the valuable ship to the Union blockade. Smalls went on to become a Union naval pilot, a U.S. congressman, and fought for African-American rights. Yet his incredible story remains largely untold in mainstream history. Before Angelina Jolie, before Marilyn Monroe, there was Hedy Lamar, one of the most beautiful actresses in 1940s Hollywood. But her greatest achievement wasn't on the silver screen. By day, she starred in films alongside Clark Gable and Spencer Tracy. By night, this self-taught inventor worked on a revolutionary communication system. During World War II, Lamar developed a frequency-hopping system designed to prevent Nazis from jamming Allied torpedoes. The military initially rejected her invention, calling it too complicated. Decades later, her groundbreaking work became the foundation for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS technologies we use every day. The woman on movie posters literally invented the precursor to the technology you're using to watch this video. She died with little recognition for her world-changing invention, receiving proper credit only years after her death. Born into slavery, Bass Reeves escaped during the Civil War and fled to Native American territory, where he learned multiple tribal languages and became an expert marksman. When slavery ended, he became one of the first black U.S. deputy marshals west of the Mississippi. His territory, 75,000 square miles of the most dangerous land in America. Reeves was a master of disguise who often infiltrated criminal gangs by posing as an outlaw himself. He carried a Winchester rifle and 2 Colt revolvers that he never missed with. During his 32-year career, he arrested over 3,000 criminals and killed 14 outlaws in self-defense. He even had to arrest his own son for murder, bringing him in to face justice despite personal cost. Sound familiar? Many historians believe Reeves was the inspiration for The Lone Ranger. Except Hollywood whitewashed the story and erased his incredible legacy for decades. Forget Blackbeard. Forget Jack Sparrow. The most successful pirate in history was a Chinese woman named Ching, who commanded over 1,800 ships and 80,000 pirates in the early 1800s. From humble beginnings as a sex worker, she married a powerful pirate captain. When he died, instead of stepping aside, she seized control of his entire fleet. She implemented a strict code. Anyone who disobeyed orders was beheaded. Anyone who raped female captives was beheaded. Anyone who deserted was, you guessed it, beheaded. Her Red Flag fleet defeated the Chinese Navy repeatedly. The Portuguese and British couldn't stop her. Even when the Chinese government offered amnesty to pirates, she negotiated her own terms. She retired with full pardons, kept all her wealth, opened a gambling house, and died peacefully at 69, something unheard of for pirates. Yet despite ruling the South China Sea with an iron fist, her story has been largely lost to Western history. The wrestler princess who remained undefeated, the enslaved man who became a Civil War hero, the movie star who revolutionized modern communication, the real-life inspiration for the Lone Ranger, the most successful pirate who ever lived. These are just a few of history's most fascinating forgotten figures. Their stories remind us that history isn't just about those who got the spotlight. It's also about the brilliant, daring souls who changed the world from the shadows. Want more untold stories? Hit the like, share, and subscribe button to keep updated.